All right, so for those who still don't know my name is Shirley, but I believe you know already lah because you already entered my breakout room, all right? So right now, let me tell you what we'll be doing today for this 2 hour seminar. Okay, first of all, you're right now from format. So of course, you will be a bit blur on your SPM formats, the exam formats for your PM. So I will go through the formats with you in details for your paper 1 all the way until paper 4. Kertas 1 hingga kertas 4, okay? So you open up to your page 2 first. Okay, then you will see this will be the format lah. So after we go through the formats already, the next things I will do is I will use a model papers to discuss with you about how are you supposed to present your answers in exam. And mainly is about the technique. So for these 2 hours, it's mainly about the formats and also how are you supposed to write it in your exam to present to your teacher. And then what are the techniques you need to take notes, and especially when you're writing for the essay, and also when you're answering the questions for your paper 2, the grammar paper, and how you're supposed to tackle the answer. Then these seminars, it will not like a usual tuitions to teach you, okay, what is kata nama concrete? Okay, what is kata acronym? It's not about all this knowledge, but it's more towards how are you supposed to answer an exam. It's about the technique part, okay? All right, so you open up to your page 2. Let me start off with the format first. Actually, I did run through once with you back in November when we first started the Form 4 syllabus. And then in the first time when I tell you all about the formats, I also got mentioned, I will repeat again in the free seminar, which is today's seminar. Okay, so anything that you need further clarification now, make sure you ask me in the chat box. All right, so the next thing here. Okay, first of all, for your formats, right, because in total for BM, the SPM BM a total of 300 marks, 300. So basically, you will have the paper 1, 2, 3, 4. Paper 1 is 100 marks. Paper 2 is also 100. 3 and 4 together is another 100. That's why it's made up of the total of 300. So, kertas 1 is for your essay karangan. Kertas 2, tata bahasa. So, it include the system bahasa dan aplikasi, which is the morphology, syntaxis, then you have the pemahaman, the novel, and also rumusan in your paper 2. Paper 3 and paper 4 is the speaking and the listening one. Okay, so for your paper 1, kertas 1, 2 jam, terdapat 2 karangan yang perlu ditulis. There will be the short one and the long one. So for the short one, karangan pendek, it will be 30 marks, 30. Karangan panjang is 70. So total jumlah 100. Then what is the difference of these two? The main difference, right, it's about the wording. The short essay, you will need to write from a minimum 150 to a 200 word. And then as for the long essay, you will need to write from a minimum of 350 to 500 words. So how many paragraphs? That's why for the short essays, it's normally from 4 to 5 paragraphs. And then the long one, it will be 5 to 6 paragraphs. This one is about 2 to 3 easy. This one is about 3 to 4 easy. Other than the wording difference, right? The very main difference is that for your bahagian A, the short essay, maka 32, for sure they will give you the easy. They will have the easy tersurat. It will be the given point and you must compulsory, wajib menggunakan semua isi yang diberikan dalam soalan. So this, they do provide isi tersurat. And confirm and compulsory, you need to use it. How about the long one? The long essay, do they provide you with the points? It depends, okay? It depends on the question. So if they do provide, then it's compulsory for you to use it. But if they never provide you any points, then you will need to brainstorm yourself. So this one, uncertain, not necessary. But this one is compulsory, confirmed. They will give you the point, okay? So that's the main two difference over here. But no matter how, because there is only one question, you can't choose. That's why you will need to be very familiar on the formats because it can be a formative writing Although since 2021, BM has changed the format. So the new format starting from 2021 all the way until the latest one, the 2025. About this, among these 5 years lah, for the karangan bahagian A, the short essay, they never come out the formative one. Okay, it's always the karangan pendapat, no format. But karangan bahan rangsangan, which is the bahagian A, the short essay, it can come out questions with format. That's why you will still need to know the format. Okay, then this is 4 questions, but 4 questions you will have 4 options lah. 4 options you will also just need to answer 1 questions only. That's why, regardless of whether this is a short one or the long one, the very first step whenever you are doing essay is to do the analysis. You read the questions at the same time, right? You do the analysis for the question. You will need to find out the TKKF, which is the topic, kata kunci, and formats. Later on, we'll go into details one, no worries. Then only you start brainstorming the rangka karangan. So after the rangka karangan, only it be like the technique. The techniques of the essay, pendahuluan TYEK, SHYEK, KCH, later on we'll go through on the technique. Okay, but this is very important. This tool is very important because you will have the options of 4 questions to choose in bahagian B, so that you will need to analyze each and every of the questions, then only you choose the ones that you have most confidence to do it. Okay, that's why this is what you need to look at it lah. So later on, I will use the karangan bahan rangsangan, the short essay, to go through 1 round about the technique of TKKF and also the TYEK, SHYEK, KCH, which is the essay writing technique, which I will give the questions together with how you're supposed to apply the essay writing technique. Okay, then it's come to your bahagian, your paper 2, kertas 2. Okay, for your paper 2, kertas 2, right? Total, there will be 3 sections, bahagian A, B, C. So there will be a total of 9 questions. The first bahagian, that consists of 5 questions. Then the second bahagian B, 3 questions. And bahagian C is the last one. So total of 9 questions here. First of all, bahagian A is mainly about all the essays one. And what does it mean by about all the essay, which is, not all the essay, sorry, all the grammar, the tata bahasa. What does this mean by about all the grammar? They will have 5 questions. The first one, morphology. They will ask you about jenis kata. All this we'll look into details later. Okay, I just give you a brief idea. What you need to do in the jenis kata is you will need to find out the jenis kata they ask you to. Let's say it's a kata hubung or the kata sandi nama. Then you will need to bina ayat. So later on, I will tell you about some techniques on how you're supposed to construct a sentence. Then it's the syntaxis. So syntaxis is mainly on the struktur ayat. This is the seminar book. So if you haven't received the physical books, you may go to the TTC website and then there is a PDF files for you to download. So the syntaxis, it will be the struktur ayat. There is a field lah. So in the nota, right, later on, in the page later on, it will also show you what are the struktur ayats and what are the jenis kata that you will need to know. After that, penyuntingan is the kesalahan. Actually, you did the kesalahans before once in the lower form. You still remember in your form 1, 2, 3, right? You will have the paper 1, paper 2, right? Paper 1, you will have 3 bahagian. The bahagian A is the ABCD. Bahagian B is like the kesalahan ejaan, kesalahan bahasa, then some peribahasa one. Then the bahagian C, it will be the ringkasan, then only your paper 2. So you see, the kertas 1 bahagian B, the kesalahan part is this one, is the penyuntingan. Penyuntingan in English, it means edit. And why do you need edit? It's because there is mistake. Okay, so just one thing that you need to remember is Form 4 and Form 5, they will not split kesalahan ejaan and kesalahan bahasa anymore. They will combine. So whenever you see penyuntingan, the kesalahan bahasa, it consists of these 4 aspects. So every time when you do the penyuntingan, you look at these 4 aspects. These 4 aspects is start off with ejaan, the spelling. So spelling normally is like the A, E, I, O, U. They will normally put the U become the O or the O become the U, the A become E, E become A like that. So you look at the spelling. Then after that, it will be the imbuhan. Okay. Imbohan is like a difference in bohans for the same base words. It will carry out a difference meaning one. Let's say tekan, it means you press on something. T-E-K-A-N, tekan. So tekan, it means you press. Menekan, it means that there will be a person actively pressing on something. This is menekan. But if you put in the imbohan menekan, menekan, it will be mementingkan, to highlight, to emphasize on something. Difference meaning already. But if you only put imbohan an, tekanan, then it will become stress. And if you put in imbohan only, tekan, it means you are being stressed. You feel the stressful of it. So a difference imbohan, it will indicate a different meaning. So in each and every of a sentence, you will need to make sure that they use the accurate imbohans for the words. Then we will have the tata bahasa. Tata bahasa is the grammar mainly on whether they use the kata hubung or the kata sendi nama correctly or not. Like whether they use dana, serta, atau, or maybe the walaupun tetapi, or maybe dari or daripada, di or di dalam or dalam, ke or kepada. So it depends on the situations. So this is mainly on the tata bahasa. And when do we use yelah? When do we use adalah? The grammar part lah. Then the most challenging one in your penyuntingan is this aspect, istilah. Okay, what is the meaning of istilah here? Istilah, it means vocabulary. So vocabulary, it means the kosakata. So as for the kosakata, right, you will need to change the most accurate vocab, okay, in the sentence. So basically for this one, there will be like 2 or 3. Normally it's like about 1 or 2 actually. It's 1 or 2 in one passage, in one question. So sometimes there might be no istilah also. So it's at 0 to 2 like that lah. Then for this part, penyuntingan it's usually carry 11 to 13 marks. Okay, basically it's like this lah. Then it's the Bahasa Melayu standard lah. The Bahasa Melayu standards, right, it's like from the classic Malay to the modern Malay. It's from the classic Malay to the modern Malay. Would it be very difficult? No. Why? Because you already know where the questions would be come from. You will have one prosa traditionals in Form 4. The Kepimpinan Melalui Teladan is when remember the stories with the characters of Ketala Sari and also the Laksamana. So story like this. Then after that, there will be another ones in Form 5. So basically, it's in your form, in the SPM exam, right? They will either extract a very small passage from the Form 4 or maybe from the Form 5 story. We already knows where the questions come from. Then it's all about the technique. So later on, I will do like 1-2 sentences with you for the BMS to tell you about the technique, how you're supposed to do it. BMS is a 3 marks for you, so no worries about that. It's not that difficult one. It's the peribahasa, the next one. Peribahasa is mainly not like how you did it in your Form 1, Form 2, Form 3. Because 1, 2, 3, sometimes they will give you the picture. And then based on the pictures, you will need to write down what will be the peribahasa. But then in 4, 5, they will mainly on the passage. They will give you a petikan, or maybe they give you a dialogue. So from the passage, right, you will need to read through the passage and then to see what would be the peribahasa that best fits in the situation. Or maybe sometimes they will give you the peribahasa already in the passage, and they want you to give the synonym, or maybe they want you to give the anonym. So it depends lah. Okay, then it's the pemahaman. Okay. Pemahaman questions, right? It's like this. Bahagian B, there is 3 questions in total. You will have these 2 petikans umum, petikan sastera, then 1 is novel. Petikans umum and petikan sastera, right? The questions how they ask is very similar. Because the first questions, normally they will ask about maksud. They want you to give about the definition. Even if they never ask you for maksuds, right? They will ask you something related to the petikan. You may get the answers from the passage one. Okay, for sure. So normally it will be 2 marks here lah. Then the second questions, it will be something related to the passage. It's just about how are you supposed to answer. 1 bahan, 1 sentence. Answer is from the passage. Only question 3 and questions 4 is the kebat. Kebat, it means your own idea, your own opinion. This is the kebat question. But what makes question 3 and 4 a different is the watak characters in your questions form. you need to be very careful on the characters in the questions box because they will be very tricky, you know. It's either your answer must be like saya harus, saya akan, or maybe they will already give you a character that you can only use that character. Pihak kerajaan, or maybe ibu bapa, or pihak sekolah. Or sometimes they might ask you pelbagai pihak. So your answer must be in a different character, at least two. Okay. That's why questions for the only one things you need to take notes for the kebat is the character. And normally this is 3 marks. This is another 3 marks. Then the last one is 4 marks. Do you notice that only the kebat itself, it's already carried about 7 marks for only one question. So you got question 6 and question 7. Over here in total, question 6 and also question 7, you add up together, the kebats already consists of 14 marks, 14 marker. It got nothing to do with whether you understand the passage or not. It's just about the questions, the soalan itself. As long as you understand the soalan, you can get the answers already. You can write it your own answer because you do not need anything from the passage. It's a free marks for you, 14 marks over here. Okay? Then after that is the novel. Novel also another 3 marks. Why am I saying so? Because novel you will split into 2 questions, you know. Like questions, there will be sub questions 1 and sub question 2. So this 2 part is like this. The first questions, it's about petikan one. Berdasarkan petikan. They will give you a short passage. Because as you know that your novel in total, there will be 4 novel from different zone, isn't it? So from the Klang Valley ones, which is Selangor and KL, you are reading the Lieutenant Adnan. So for the Lieutenant Adnan, in the first one, the Petikans, right, you might be getting the questions regarding to Lieutenant Adnan, or you might be getting the questions related to other zone. But no worries, it's because the answer already given in the petikan. Because the questions is about berdasarkan petikan. So the answer is given. You may just need to get it up, then copy and paste. That's it. This is about 4 marks. Then after that, number 2, it's only the novel that you study. Novel yang anda kaji. And this one, it will be the contoh peristiwa. And please remember that in Form 4 and Form 5, they will no longer ask you about what is the tema, persoalan, nilai, pengajaran for the novel. No need to memorize all this. What is really important in your Form 4 and Form 5 novel is the jalan cerita, which is the contoh peristiwa. What happens? What is the storyline? The questions that they ask is mainly more towards the kebats one. Let's say for the Lieutenant Adnans, maybe they will ask you questions like, pujakan ataupun berikan peristiwa yang sedih dalam novel yang anda kaji. Then you need to think of what are the incidents that you feel sad and why do you feel sad. So this one, it's about the jalan cerita. You will need to know about the storyline, not to go and memorize the nilai pengajaran persoalan tema useless. Do not memorize all this, but you will need to know the storyline to read the story. Okay. Then after that is the rumusan. Rumusan is what we did this week lah. In the week 3 normal class, we have go through the rumusan, and especially in class, I purposely do the ones that consist of the poems, the poesy one. Remember? So rumusan, it will be 30 marks. No matter you want to score or you want to pass, you must get at least 25 and above. Okay, that's rumusan. So this is how it's made up of the 200. Then we have the last one here, which is the paper 3 and paper 4. I need to go get the charges for my iPad. So any questions that you want to clarify, you may ask me in the chat box. Then later on, we'll go into the paper 3 and paper 4. So you may have a look on the paper 3 and paper 4 first. This is the speaking and listening. So any things that you want to clarify up until this point, you may text me in the chat box. Let me go get a charger. 1 minute, it's very fast. Okay, I'm back. Actually, for Form 4, yes, it is. Okay. 1, 2, 3 is 1.5 hours. So for the upper form 1, it's 2 hours per subject. Okay, so let's continue. That they won't ask them. Okay, let me tell you how it will ask. Why I say that no need to memorize the tema persoalan watak is because of they will not ask you to list out what is the nilai, what is the pengajaran. But example, they might ask some things like, let's say, this is the easiest question that I see. Let's say Lieutenant Adnana, they say that terdapat nilai ketabahan dalam perwatakan Lieutenant Adnan. Berikan contoh peristiwa yang menunjukkan nilai tersebut. Then you will need to give what happened. So they are not asking you to list out what is the nilai from the story. Is that, let's say, from this character, that is this value, which part it shows. So no point that you go and memorize, okay, ketabahan. Here got ketabahan, there got ketabahan. But it's you need to understand the story, why it shows that there is ketabahan over there. That's why if you know the jalan cerita, then you can answer. So it's all about understanding and knowing the storyline. It's not about just memorize, because I know how you guys do for 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 is memang you go and memorize only. Whether you know the storyline or not, as long as you go and memorize, then you can get the marks already. But it do not apply in your Form 4 and Form 5. It's more on the K-back question. You will need to know the storyline so that you can twist and turn and answer the question. Okay, that's the difference of it. How many marks at the novel? This one, look at it. No worries for the novel. Don't be panicked for the novel. Why? Let me show you. Just like I tell the Mandarin class also. Now, you see, novel questions 8, in total there will be 10 marks. So over here, in total there will be 10 marks. And then 4 marks is go to the petikans already. So the novel that you study, it will only be 6 marks. And you still remember at the beginning of the class, I told you that the SPM level, the BNs, it will be 300 marks in total. Am I correct? So if it's a 300 mark in total, means what? A simple calculations. You go and do this simple calculations. If you don't know the calculations, then you go and find Liang I tell you. So 6 marks over 300, then you need to times 100. Tell me, how many marks in total? Do your own calculation. Okay, yes, you are correct. Okay. So if you ask me how many marks for the novel, it will be 2. If you convert to the 100, because for BM, it will be 300. But of course, teacher, does this mean that I can just, do not read the novel, I will just enter it? Of course, no. Why? Because novel, as long as you write something, you will never get the 0 marks when you know. And sometimes you might make some careless mistake. So novel is about the story only. Novel, just read the story, know the storyline, then you can write already. It's all about the K-Bucks one. So you need to know the storyline. That's it. Okay. Again, this is the marks for the novella. Okay, then come back to the next one. It's your paper 3 and paper 4. So for the paper 3 and paper 4, the speaking and the listening, bertutur and mendengar. Now, not you, it's a Form 5. I did the bertutur with my Form 5. I think it's in week 2. Okay, so for the bertutur, right, there will be 70 markah. Why? Because they're split into the group one and the individual ones. And for your informations, you cannot choose the group member because your group member is according to the angka giliran one. Okay, it's according to your number. So you can't choose your member. But individual marks is about 40. Kumpulan's one, it will be 30. That's why it's made 70. Individual is how like you will go into the room and then the teachers will give you a passage for you to read. The passage is like very similar to the pemahaman questions one, the petikans umum. So you read through the passage about maybe 3 minutes like that. Then the teachers will collect back the paper. You will need to go into the exam room already, another room. So when you go into another room, the teachers will give you back the paper again. How teachers, when they collect already, then they will need to like give us back later because they don't want you to write anything in the paper. They don't want you to bring the papers from the waiting room. They're scared that maybe, they're worried that maybe you have read something in already. So they will just like collect it back and then give it back to you when you are in the exam room. Then you will need to read the passage out. When you start reading, your tones and then your punctuations, all this, it's calculated already for the marks calculation. So you just read the passage out. After you read the passage out, the teachers will ask you 3 questions. The first 2 questions, you may get the answers from the passage 1. But it's that the question 3, there will be the K-BAT question. Okay, so you just need to answer the questions. The questions is the teachers will tell you, so you will not able to get the questions from the paper. The paper is just the passage only. Okay, then I got student ask me, hi teacher, what if I need some time to think? How? You can think of it, but you don't just stand there and keep quiet for 3 minutes and then you can't even say a words lah. Of course, cannot law. So if you feel like, okay, you already got a point and then you need some time again, then maybe you can tell the teacher that, boleh tak cikgu ulang sekali soalan tersebut? You can ask the teachers to repeat the questions one, maybe once or twice lah, with a polite way, then kind of ready. This is the individual. Then kumpulan ones, it will be like the essay question. So kumpulan, there will be 2 rounds. One exam, there will be 2 rounds, a total of 12 to 15 minutes. So a group is about 4 to 5 persons. Each of you will be like 3 minutes. So pusingan pertama is like the presentations for the point. It will be getting some things like the essay questions. So maybe they will give you something like faktor-faktor berlakunya kemalangan jalan raya. So each and every of the members, you will need to mention one factor. Each and every of you got a different point. Then to elaborate just like how we do the essay. So how we do the essays, we use the technique of SHYEK for the content part. So you apply the SHYEK only. It's totally the same thing. Later on, I will go through the SHYEK. No worries. Then pusingan kedua is about discussions one. So each and every of the member already elaborates their points about the factor. Then the next round is about the dialogue. Why is this a dialogue? Because it will more towards like a discussions with the group member about the factor. Okay, so it's like 2 ways communications lah, you and your member. But you will notice that for the kumpulan on, there will be dua pendaksil, like the examiner. There will be one pendaksil, they keep on writing one, okay, to take down your marks. And another one's right is some kind of like the coordinator. Because especially in the second round, if the coordinator, the teachers found that there will be 1 or 2 very quiet, then the teachers will start to cue the persons because each and every of you need to speak it up. Then only the teachers will be able to give the marks. Kumpulan marks, it will be similar because it's a group mark. So individual, it will be like the individual basis lah. Then only it's come to the mendengar. Mendengar, you will be getting 4 to 6 passage. You will get a paper first, then they will give you some time to read it on, then they will start playing the audio. Each audio they will repeat twice. But remember, once you listen to the audio already, right, you need to jot down the answer. Do not wait until it's finished, then only you jot down. You got not enough time one. Okay, so bertutur and mendengar, you will experience once or twice in your form 4 lah. Then you will be more familiar on how the entire process would be. This a total of 100. So paper 100, paper 200, paper 3 and 4 also 100. That's why it consists of 300s for the SPM level. Okay, so far so good for the format part. Basically, format, it will be something like this lah. So the next thing I want to go into, it will be the paper 1. The techniques that we use for the essays writing and how are you supposed to analyze the questions, all of it. Then only I will go into the paper 2, the answering technique also. Okay, can So let's move on. Okay, do you see this one? Very cute, right? One thing, you still remember just now, for the paper 2, I did tell you that the first question is morphology. Morphology is about the jenis kata, am I correct? So for the jenis kata, actually TTC BM, we got 5 tutors in total. So we have opened up a IG account recently. So what we will do in the IG account is we slowly uploading the jenis kata. Okay, so there will be the kata dasar, kata tunggal, and the kata nama today. There will be uploaded. So like weekly lah, the Saturday, weekly Saturday like that, we'll upload some journeys kata. And you may stay tuned a bit on the bertutur parts because we are doing something for the bertutur for the student as well. Okay, but the bertutur not so fast, probably like May. But right now we are uploading the journeys kata for the student first. So you may go the IG and follow TDCBM. Okay. Alright, mendengar usually is objective question or writing. There will be both. There will be the objective one, there will be the subjective one. Okay, objective and subjective. So only the mendengar, you will have the objective question. Because for your kertas dua, the grammar the 9 questions it's all the subjective. When you go to Form 4 and Form 5, only the mendengar, they will have 1-2 questions for the objective. The rest all is writing. Okay? Alright, then. Next. Okay, look at this one. First of all, this is your paper 1, the short essay. So for the karangan pendek here, right? Now, there will only be 1 question. And then for this question, it's compulsory for you to answer. You got no options to choose. Secondly, there will be the bahan given to you. Minimum, there will be 2 lah, okay? Sometimes like 2 to 3 like that. Then, each and every of the bahan, you will need to use it. It's either you use them as the point, as the isi, if there is any, or you use them to put it into your pendahuluan or penutup or huraian also can. Just no matter how, each and every of the bahan, you must touch a bit and then to extract some of the information into your essay writing. It's compulsory. Then, kurang-kurangnya 2 bahan dikemukakan, perenggan isi boleh terdiri daripada 2 atau 3 isi. I told you it's either 4 or 5 paragraph So if it's 4 paragraph, meaning to say you will have 2 isi 1 opening, 1 closing. Panjang karangan hendaklah antara 150 hingga 200. Calon mesti menggunakan isi yang diberikan dalam bahan. Mesti menggunakan. It's mesti no negotiation. They give you 2, then you must use all 2. They give you 3, then you must use all 3. Okay? Alright, so here's the techniques of writing essay. No matter it's a long one or the short one, it's the same thing. You read the questions at the same time you do the analysis. Help me to change a bit the tajuk here to the topic. Why I want you to change it, right? Topics will be more accurate is because this is the TKKF that I mentioned. Let's say right now you need to write an essay. I give it the same example. Like the factor berlakunya kemalangan jalan raya. Okay, then you see what is this means by the topic and the kata kunci and then the formats again. For all the questions you will need to find out whether this one is about surat or whether this is about rencana or whether this is about laporan. This is the format. Topic is the entire essay. What is the topic over here so that you will not write out of topic? It's the kemalangan jalan raya. This one is the topic. Kata kunci reflects to the isi. What is the content? What is the points you need to write? So, faktor will be the kata kunci. Of course, for the kata kunci, the isi, right? You may always take this out. KFC. And the KFC refers to the kesan, faktor, cara. Kesan, you will have both the positive one and the negative one. So, kesan positive, it will be the same as what? Kepentingan, kelebihan, manfaat, faedah, or this. Faktor, it will be like sebab punca. Cara is like the usaha, langkah, pendekatan, they are the same. But of course, your kata kunci is not just limit to all these 3. You might also have masalah, cabaran, peranan, tanggungjawab, it can be These 3, the KFC, is the basic. So when you do rumusan, you can take the basic out also. Okay, just for your info. Then, based on your topic and the kata kunci, spend about 5 minutes to brainstorm your rangka karangan. Because in 2 hours time, you will need to write 2 essays with 200 words and also 500 words. You got not enough time to rewrite if you notice that you write out of topic already. Okay, that's why be careful of it. Who on the mic? Okay, then the next one. Kosa kata and peribahasa. This one is like in the monthly nota, the monthly notes, right? Whenever we are doing for the essays, I do provide you with the kosakata, the vocab, right? So the penguasaan kosakata will also be one of the criteria for the teachers to give you the marks one. Then it's a technique lah. So I will go into details for the technique, TYEK, SHYEK, and KCH. How do we apply this? So I will use the karangan bahan rangsangan, the short essay, as an example. Next. Okay. Here's the question. The questions told you that petikan dan grafik di bawah menunjukkan maklumat berkaitan dompet digital. So this is the e-wallet. And based on the maklumat, tulis sebuah rencana tentang kepentingan dompet digital kepada masyarakat. And the wordings must be within 150 to 200. Okay, so from here, first of all, it's so obvious that rencana is the format. Then, kepentingan, it means the importance. It will be the kata kunci. And then, dompet digital. This one is the topic. What do we need to write for this essay? This is the topic. Okay, and then I do have students ask me in the previous seminar, in the previous class, right? They ask about, teacher, what is the difference between kepentingan and also the kebaikan? Okay, when you are doing essays, right? Kepentingan, kebaikan, manfaat, faedah, kelebihan, they are the same thing one. Kepentingan, it means importance, isn't it? Why is it so important? It's because they will bring you benefits. That's why it is important. So, whenever they ask you for kepentingan, it will be the same lah. What do you need to write? It's the benefits. Okay, so right now we know the TKKF already. Since we know the TKKF already, what do we need to do? Okay, first of all, we need to scan through all the information here. So to scan through all the information here. Nah, e-wallet atau dompet digital kini dilihat semakin popular. They are telling the phenomena, the situations, which means that it's getting more and more popular for the e-wallet. Yang menyaksikan teknologi ini, itu mengubah cara pengguna melakukan pembayaran untuk produk dan perkhidmatan. Sama ada secara dalam dan luar talian. Antara dompet, so they give you the example. But have you noticed one thing? The example, it will be something similar to this. It's like what, touch and go, and then the Grab Pay, and then we do have the Boost as well, the same thing. Okay, then. The next one. Kepentingan dompet digital mengurangkan jumlah wang yang perlu dibawa, boleh menyimpan segala rekod perbelanjaan. Teacher, how are we supposed to use all it? First of all, we know that the essays we need to write about kepentingan. We know that the topic is dompet digital. So, how do we use the information here? This will be definitely become the point. So obvious already, isn't it? So this will be the isi. Isi pertama, isi kedua. So all this, right? This part, it will be the contoh. We will put some contoh. No need to put all in up because you just need to touch on this part. Maybe you take the touch and go Grab Pay. That's it. Teacher, then how about this one? This one, they also got contoh already, but it's similar with this bahan. That's why, do you see I underline this one? This one is that to describe by telling what is the situations towards this e-wallet. So you can put this in the pendahuluan. Teacher, means that I copy bulat-bulat. Copy the first sentence into the pendahuluan. You may take the definitions here. You may take the message that try to deliver, which means by telling that e-wallet is getting popular. But to use your own sentence. The worst scenario is you copy and paste if you don't know how. But if can, you use your own sentence, but to bring out the same meaning. Let's say, penggunaan e-wallet, penggunaan dompet digital semakin popular dalam kalangan masyarakat kita. That kind of ready. Okay, so we will put this in pendahuluan. This is the isi, this is the contoh. So we fully utilize all the bahans given. Up until here, follow? questions? Anything that you would like to clarify? Wait, I got student text me. Never mind. I will reply later. Okay, can I? So let's continue to move on to the next one. Now, the next thing. We start by writing, because you see, after you get the TKKF, then you scan through already. Right now, you already get all the info, then we start writing. So to start writing for the pendahuluans, we will be using what? We will be using the TYEK, topic Y effect kata kunci. This one is for our opening. So the topic, the first thing here, right, it's about jelaskan topic. To jelaskan topic, I'm not asking you to give the definitions, I no need. But the jelaskan topic here, jelaskan topic is to describe about the situation, keadaan, or maybe the phenomena. And it's not about maksud. If your teachers want the definitions, right, your teachers will go and look for the dictionary themselves. So, what is the phenomena? The e-wallet, the dompet digital is getting popular among the people, mah. Dompet digital merupakan salah satu inovasi teknologi kewangan yang semakin mendapat tempat dalam masyarakat moden. Semakin mendapat tempat, it means they're getting like kedudukan, they're getting like places in the society. So meaning to say more and more people is using it, it's more and more popular. Okay, so this already reflect and to describe what happened. Then the next one is why. Why is it getting popular? Because you said that it's getting popular, then you ask yourself, why is it getting popular? Dengan perkembangan pesat teknologi, maklumat, dompet digital kini menjadi alternatif kepada cara tradisional menguruskan wang. The reasons why it's getting popular because this already become the alternative. So alternative is the reasons why. Then the effect. Effect is always the kesan. So when it comes to the kesans, it's that the impact. Kesans will have the kesan positive and also the kesan negative. That's why we will need to ask ourselves whether we are writing for the kesan positive or we are writing for the kesan negative. There will be the positive. There can also be the negative. So we'll look at it, the positive or the negative. Now, first of all, when we try to describe and when we try to explain for the topic, we are writing something that is towards the positive ways, isn't it? Because we are saying that, oh, it's getting popular. And then why? Because it's become the alternative. That's why when we come to the impact, the kesan, it will become the kesan positive here. So the kesan positive is what? Melalui aplikasi mudah alih tersebut. So through this apps, right? Transaksi seperti pembayaran. So the transactions like the payments, the transfer, pemindahan wang is the transfer. And the penyimpanan maklumat kewangan. Transaksi dapat dilakukan dengan lebih pantas serta mudah. So this is the impact. Kata kunci is to repeat again. To repeat what? To repeat your keywords and also the topic. Oleh itu, mari kita mengkaji kepentingan dompet digital kepada masyarakat. Okay. Nah, mari kita mengkaji is like, let's come and do some research and let's discuss about this one. If it's rencana, you can write in this way. But if it's like in the syarahan ucapan, marilah kita membincangkan also can. But the general ones are, which means if you are writing for the karangan pendapat, karangan fakta, even rencana or the syarahan, you can use this one. You may replace with, oleh itu, kita perlu meneliti. It will be more formal lah. Okay, it will be more formal. Meneliti, it means you will need to go and observe and then to find out. To observe and to find out. This is meneliti. And then one common mistake, this one. Mengkaji is to research. Because there is one word's very similar one. It's mengaji. Mengaji is also study, to research, but mengaji, this word, it's only applied for kitab. It's only applied for Al-Quran. Only applied for Bible. Okay, so mengaji Al-Quran, it means you go and study to understand indeed for the Bible. Mengkaji is set to research. Don't mix up, or else your teachers will deduct your bahasa marks. Any specific format? Yes, rencana is the format. So what is the format for the article rencana? Rencana is the easiest. Why? Technique of writing essay is the same as karangan pendapat. The format only two things. Before you start writing the essay, in the middle of your answer sheets, right? What do you do is write down the tajuk. And then, no need underline. Write down your name, the author name. Nama penulis. So, example, if it's in exam, the title of this one is The Kepentingan Dompet Digital Kepada Masyarakat. So, in the middle of your answer sheet, Kepentingan Dompet Digital Kepada Masyarakat. Do you need to underline it? No need, because when you underline it, it will become the laporan, reports already. No need to underline. Then, oleh, write down your full name in. Then, make sure it will be in the middle, guys. Okay. Then, after that, start writing your essay. That's it. Done. What do you need to take notes over here is, have you noticed for the tajuk, whenever your essay is required the tajuk, this is very important. The first alphabet, the first letter for each wording, it must be a capital letter. Except for kata hubung and kata sendi nama. So if you see like kepada, dan, antara, dalam, it will never be a capital letter. Yes, you need to space out, Ashley. Then, after that, for the oleh also, for the name the first alphabets yes, it's on the top middle, correct. Then only you start writing for the essay. That's the formats for rencana. Okay, that's it, the formats for rencana. So remember, whenever your essay writings require the tajuk, or the first letter, it must be a capital letter except for the kata hubung, kata sendi nama. And what is the formats that require the tajuk? Laporan is one. Rencana is one. Surat kiriman rasmi also. Email also. Because kepada is a kata sendi nama. As I mentioned, except kata sendi nama, preposition and also kata hubung, no need to be capital letter. The rest need to be capital letter. And kepada is a kata sendi nama. Guys, you will need to be very familiar on the sendi nama and hubung because this one sendi nama and hubung very confusing one. So the teacher love to test you in the morphology. Remember that. If you never huruf besar okay. The marks for your essay, no matter it's the short one or the long one, short essay is 30 marks, isn't it? Then the long essay is 70 marks. So if this is the formative writings, right? If it's a formative writing, the format it consists of 3 marks. So the max the teachers will deduct the formats is at 3 marks. Wow, teacher, 3 marks so little but you need to understand schema for the essay, right? The marking schema for the essay, they will only split into category by telling this is like cemerlang, baik, tahap memuaskan, kurang memuaskan, and then the step-by-step guidance to the teachers is to tell the teacher, okay, ayat yang gramatis, ayat kurang gramatis, isi yang mantap, isi kurang jelas. Whether it will be a very clear explanations or very logic explanations or not, who will be the ones who judge? Your teacher. Okay, your teachers will be the ones who do all this assessment one. That's why if you choose the essays with a formative writing, let's say Surat Karima Rasmin. But then you are not familiar with the format, you write your essays with the format that is wrong, it will badly impact the teacher's impressions towards you. So with these impressions to mark your essay, of course, you will not getting any benefits of it. That's why I told you, marking of essay is very subjective. All the teacher, each and every of the teachers to mark the same essay, they might give a different mark one. Because the schema just give a range. You are at which range. But who to decide you are at which range? Your teacher. Okay? So remember, of course, definitely you will be deduct the marks. But of course, the schema saying is at 3 marks lah. But there will also be, the impressions and all this. Okay? All right. Let's move on now. So the next one. We're done with the opening here already. So let's move on to the next one, which is the EC, the SH by EK. So for the EC, the SH by EK, it's like EC, how wide effect conclusive. Okay. So the first one over here, according to the questions, based on the questions that already gave us the kepentingan over here, am I correct? So we just use this one. And then I know a lot of students, right? They will tend to put in all the penanda wacana, or maybe some wordings that it's look very bombastic on the starting one. And for the opening, the bombastic openings, would it help? Not really right now, actually, okay? Because when you go to the upper forms, the teachers mainly is like to want to know about your elaborations, whether you can elaborate it in a very detailed one and also clear enough or not. So your elaborations is more important as compared to all the bombastic thingy. Okay? Did not take from the bahan, is that okay? Okay, Nadia, whether you no need to take the openings from the bahan is like this. The reasons why do I take these ones from the bahans, right? It's because for this question, it provide me 1, 2, 3 bahan. So for the karangan bahan rangsangan, you need to remember all the bahan, it must be included in my essays writing. This one, so obvious it will go to the EC already. This one, so obvious it will become the contour already. Over here, it's repeat the same thing, okay? That's why I need to get something else that's only from this bahana to show that I fully utilize all the bahan. That's the reason why I get the info here to put it into the pendahuluan. Okay, not necessary to start your pendahuluans with the information provided one. It depends on the situation and depends on the question. So it is okay if you never take the bahans from the never take the contents from the bahans to your opening. If you're not putting it in the openings, maybe you put it in like, the hurayans or something else. You just need to make sure that you fully utilize all the bahan. Then can already. Can you understand, Asamil? Okay. So come back to this one. Now, the first thing, so right now, let us start off with the points. How are you supposed to start? Direct start off with the kata kunci setter already because you got only a maximum of 200 words. Do not be all the bombastic. No need to be bombastic. Okay, then how do we start? Direct start off with kepentingan. Okay, we can say that the first importance or maybe like the main thing is what? Kepentingan utama or kepentingan perdana. Perdana, it means that pertama like that. Dompet digital. Ialah kita dapat mengurangkan jumlah wang tunai no need wang tunai. Wang enough already because I don't want to add the words. Jumlah wang yang perlu di bawah. No need di bawah keluar. Di bawah enough. Okay. I try to make it the same thing as per the info given. Alright, then the next one, you already explained the easy mah. So the easy is what? The easy here you said that mengurangkan jumlah wang yang perlu dibawa. How? How it helps us to reduce the cash, the monies that we bring it out. Because we can just make any transactions to make the payments without using the cash. So this one you explain. Dengan dompet digital. Pengguna boleh melakukan pelbagai transaksi, pelbagai jenis transaksi. Pembayaran dengan aplikasi. You still remember the contoh? So I put the contoh in. Seperti GrabPay dan Touch and Go. Tanpa perlu, without using menggunakan wang tunai. Dengan kan, why ah? Okay, we can start a sentence with dengan. Dengan is a kata sendi nama. Wait, but provided if you start a sentence with the kata sendi nama and also the kata hubung, you need to remember you must have a comma here. You still remember when back in your primary school, there is a lot of like the cerita one. Then you will start off with like pada cuti persekolahan, comma. Kami sekeluarga pergi ke blah blah blah. Can you start off a sentence with pada? Can. Pada is also kata sendi nama, but provided you must have comma. Teacher, can we start off a sentence with untuk? Can, but you must have a comma. Okay, that's the only one thing. Touch and go counted as one word because it's a name. It's a kata nama khas. Okay, so touch and go is counted as one word. All right, so the next one. Now, so for this one, how we do that and how we will be able to reduce the monies we bring out. Because for all the transactions, we will be able to carry out the transactions, melakukan pelbagai jenis transaksi tanpa perlu menggunakan wang tunai. So this one explain how already. Then after the how is why. Why this will be the importance? Why is it I do not need to bring so many cash out? It will be the importance, isn't it? Because it can increase our safetyness, isn't it? So over here, you can say that, okay, this situations, keadaan ini. Bukan sahaja, not only is our transactions memudahkan urusan, even malah juga membantu, not membantu, malah juga meningkatkan keselamatan kita. So have you noticed using the e-wallets, it's kind of like a kill two birds with one stone, isn't it? You got a few benefits just by using the applications, just by using the e-wallet. So you may apply the idioms, the peribahasa in here. Meaning to say, keadaan ini bukan sahaja memudahkan urusan sebuah benefit, meningkatkan keselamatan another benefit. Seperti kill two birds with one stone, the peribahasa in Malay, right? Seperti sambil menyelam minum air. So here's the meanings for the peribahasa. Okay, and then over here, now I got student ask, teacher, is it compulsory to put in peribahasa? I got student feedback to me. That one is from the Catholic one. There is one teacher. I forgot the name already. Sorry. So there is one teachers. That there is some students tell me that the teachers want them to put in peribahasa. Whether the peribahasa is a compulsory thing and whether die you must put as much peribahasa as you could, then only it can boost your marks. You need to understand marking of your essay just now I said very subjective, right? Depends on the teacher judgment. And what is really important and the basic, okay, of the essay is you will need to construct a proper sentence that's free from grammar mistake. This is what the teachers want. And also your points, it must be clear enough, and also it must be mantap and logic and relevant. These are the criteria that you need to meet first. After you have meeting all these criteria, then only peribahasas would help. If you can't even construct a proper sentence that's free from a grammar mistake, even you put as much peribahasa as you could, it's also useless one. Okay, so you need to remember step by step one. The very basic one is sentence that free from grammar mistake. Your point, it must be relevant, logic, steady, okay? Then only you boost up your peribahasa. Don't just be so worried about all the peribahasa. It's useless one. If you put as much peribahasa as you could, but then your points and then your sentence is not good enough, it will be useless. It will not help at all. Okay, remember that. Teacher, how are we supposed to build a sentence, construct a sentence? Later on, when we go to morphology, I will teach you how you should bina ayat. Okay, then you need to teach a bina ayat later on. You can take up the technique, but I believe and I assume that and I trust that you know how to construct a proper sentence already. Okay, so the next one. Now, you see so the why here, it will be memudahkan urusan, meningkatkan keselamatan kita. That's why it will be the benefits. Then we come to the E. SHY already, so it's E. The E is the effect, the impact. Every time when we talk about the impact, it will be something like this. The impact, right, it will be the positive one or the negative one. So it depends on which directions you are going into lah. And then since we are talking about the kepentingan dompet digital, isn't it? And then we mentioned that, okay, we can reduce the cash out so that it will enhance our safety. So of course, it will be the positive part already, the impact positive. So over here, what you can say is it will be reduce the risk of what? Kehilangan dan kecurian wang. That's why hasilnya risiko kehilangan atau kecurian wang tunai dapat diminimumkan. So this is the impact. Lastly, the conclusive. The conclusive basically is about repeat. Repeat what? Repeat your EC, repeat your point. So this one is to ulang. Repeat your ECs and also to repeat your points. What does it mean? So let's say, you may start off with, in short, tegasnya. If you don't want to put tegasnya, you may also to put tuntasnya. Or maybe you can use like, let's say, jelaslah bahawa, or conclusinya, or this, so it's enough already lah for the long essay and the short essay. So in short, what happened here? Okay. Dompet digital. membolehkan kita mengurangkan wang tunai yang dibawa dan menjamin keselamatan harta benda kita. So to repeat again, that's it. Okay, so this will be the SHYEK. And then just now when we talk about the bertutur, remember, I told you that the bertutur, the kumpulan one, you will have two pusingan, isn't it? So that will be the group ones and the individuals one. So for the group ones, you will have pusingan pertama, pusingan kedua. Pusingan pertama is at the presentations by telling to present about a point. So you are using the same thing, the SHYEK. The SHYEK to think of your points and also your explanations, the further elaboration. So you apply this technique into your speaking test as well. Okay, then after that, the next thing here, it will be the penutup. So as for the penutups, right, the conclusions here. Now, the KCH, kesimpulan cadangan harapan, this penutup is different with this one. Why? Konklusi and kesimpulan basically is the same thing. Konklusi in the isi is to conclude the point. Kesimpulan in the penutup is to conclude and also to make a general closings for the topic. That's why dompet maya, which is a dompet digital, membawa pelbagai kemudahan dalam pengurusan kewangan peribadi. This is the general closings for the topic. Then the cadangan. Cadangan, it means suggestions. Whenever you have the cadangans, you will have the watak a character. Because you will need to tell on what the characters that need to do. So let's say over here, the character is a pihak berkuasa. This is the watak. What the pihak berkuasa that need to do? Meningkatkan kesedaran tentang faedah dompet digital. So they need to enhance the awareness of the people. Why do they need to do so? It's the harapan. So harapan is also the kesan positive. The reasons why we are giving suggestions to ask them to carry out a course of actions, of course, is for the positive impact. Of course, is for the positive outcome, isn't it? So the reasons you put in the watak already, and then you give the suggestion. So right now, what is the positive outcome that we want? Dengan pelaksanaan langkah-langkah strategik dan kerjasama antara sektor swasta serta kerajaan, dompet digital mampu memperkukuh ekonomi digital negara. Penggunaan dompet digital akan terus berkembang, menjadikan kehidupan masyarakat lebih mudah, cepat serta selamat. So this will be the positive impact that we want. So K, C, H. Okay, this is how you should think of it. Okay, this is the ways of triggers the idea to stimulate your idea. Okay, then technique is like this. I will now touch and go with you on the bahagian B about how are you supposed to choose the question and how are you supposed to analyze the question and what does it mean that, okay, if there is any points given, then you need to take it out. So next one up, let's see. Now, bahagian B here, you will have 4 questions, a total of 4 questions now. So 4 questions, you choose only one. You choose only one out. Then minimum 350, maximum 500. Calon mesti menggunakan isi tersurat yang diberikan dalam soalan. The keyword here is jika ada, if there is any. So the rest, everything here is the same. Okay. The technique TYEK, SHYEK, KCH. So right now we will be going through this part. How many change? This is like the topic instead of tajuk. Okay, so let's see the next one here. The first question. This is soalan. And this part is the maklumat tambahan. So first of all, soalan mentions that huraikan faktor-faktor. berlakunya masalah disiplin dalam kalangan pelajar di negara kita. Faktor-faktor is the kata kunci. I know that the isi, the context, I need to write about the factors. The topic is the masalah disiplin. Is there any format? No. So it will be the karangan pendapat, karangan fakta. Then, in the maklumat tambahan here, okay, it's only mentioned that semakin hari melihat proses moral dan disiplin dalam kalangan pelajar semakin meruncing. Meruncing it means getting worse. So this is some kind of like the introduction. Ada masanya tingkah laku negatif mereka sudah melampaui batas, already over the limits, yang kadang-kadang tidak terjangkau oleh akal. That's out of their control already. Pelajar kita seolah-olah terbawa-bawa dengan perasaan sehingga hilang kawalan diri. What does it mean, sir? They say that right now, most students, right, they will just follow their feeling, their emotion. They follow their feelings, their emotions, right, without thinking about the consequences. So they just let the emotions lead them until they will act something or to behave out of control like that. This is one of the reasons. Mementingkan keseronokan, or maybe they just like care about the fun to just want to have fun. Let's say masalah disciplines including wanting sekolah. So if the students, they are too addicted on the video games, permainan electronic or this, so they are too addicted to it, they might ponting sekolah and go to the CC together, isn't it? The cafe saber together. So when they ponting sekolah dan pergi cafe saber untuk bermain permainan electronic, then this will be the masalah disciplines already. And why do they do so? Because they want to have fun, mementingkan keseronokan. Berbangga dengan perkara yang dilakukan oleh mereka. They are very proud of anything that be done by them. So maybe they will feel like, hey, we gang up together, we are a gangster, we are a gang, huh? So people were scared of us, huh? Whoa, it's so very cool like that, you know. So this is the reasons why it causes masalah bully happens, masalah disciplines in the school, it keep on happening. That's why they already give the point. Pelajar kita seolah-olah terbawa-bawa dengan perasaan, mementingkan keseronokan, berbangga dengan perkara yang dilakukan oleh mereka. So we got 1, we got 2, we got 3. Di sebalik pelbagai alasan, okay, other than all this kind of like excuses and a reason, masalah disiplin melampau anak sekolah berlaku akibat hakisan budaya autokratik sekolah. Budaya autokratic, this is a culture like a bit like a dictations like that, meaning to say there is no two-way communications. It always happens in Asian parentings one. Okay, why? Because a lot of the Asian parentings, right, like our parents like, so maybe not yours, your generations, maybe it's my generations or the older generations. There will be whatever I say, you need to follow. You cannot just say no. Whatever I say, 1 then is 1, 2 then is 2. You cannot have any comment. So this is kind of like budaya autokratik. So that will causes the pelajar to get themselves into the masalah disciplines one. But budaya autokratik is not a factor. Reason is because masalah disiplina is the kesan, is the impact of this budaya autokratik actually. Okay, then your point is so obvious. 1, 2, 3, they're already given to you. So you just take all these 3 kind already. Alright, then the next one. Ilmu pengetahuan memberikan banyak manfaat seperti yang telah dibincangkan. Huraikan manfaat menuntut ilmu kepada setiap individu. Ilmu is the topic knowledge. Manfaat it will be the kata kunci benefit. So we look at it. So do they provide us? Yes, so obvious. 3 kepentingan menuntut ilmu dalam kehidupan ialah individu itu dapat meningkatkan kemahiran dan pengetahuan, meningkatkan peluang pekerjaan, peluang kerjaya, meningkatkan kualiti hidup. Again, 1, 2, 3. They give it to you so obvious. You will need to get all this and then to put it in the AC's writing. Compulsory because it's provided to you. Then, question number 3. Berdasarkan petikan di atas, jelaskan usaha-usaha yang boleh dilakukan untuk menarik golongan muda menceburi bidang pertanian. This one listen carefully, ya. because this a bit tricky. Why am I saying it's a bit tricky? They ask you for usaha. It means cara, solutions and ways, isn't it? They ask you about what are the ways in order to attract more youngsters to get themselves involved in agriculture. Bidang pertanian, it means the agriculture. So these ones will be the kata kunci, and these ones will be the topic. From the soalans, we get it so obvious what is the topic and the kata kunci. Format is karangan fakta because they never mentions anything. But the thing is in the maklumat tambahan. Look at it. The maklumat tambahan here, it's mentioned. Okay, starting the first passage, the first sentence, right, is by telling you that because of the COVID lah, after the COVIDs, right, what we really value is about the issue keselamatan makanan. So this is the issue keselamatan makanan. Dan oleh itu, semua pihak perlu membuka mata bagi memastikan sektor ini diperkasa dalam kalangan generasi muda. Because after the COVID, we know that how important to have like enough foods in our countries that we will be able to supply to our own people. Because the COVIDs are the import, the export, the entire economy of the world is being impacted. That's why we need to have enough food to support our own citizens like that. So this one, the first 3 sentences is just about like a background story. But isu yang selalu timbul, so they say that problems that always arise dalam usaha untuk memperkukuh keselamatan makanan ialah, they say the problem is what? The problem to enhance we got like enough foods all this it's because of kekurangan minat dalam kalangan belia. Belia it means the teenage remaja untuk menyertai sektor pertanian. There is no teenage, they do not have the interest on getting themselves in. Penawaran gaji dan upah yang rendah, and because of that will be like low paid. So it's become the penghalang. It becomes the obstacles for the golongan muda to participate in. And also, kurangnya pendedahan teknologi dalam pertanian. And there is not much advanced technology here. So these are all the cabaran, masalah that stop the youngster to participate, to stop the youngster to join into the agriculture. In your maklumat tambahan, they give you the problem. But in the question, they want you to give the solution. So they give you the problem, you will need to provide the solution towards the problems, and that will be the easy already. First of all, they say kekurangan minat they got no interest. Why? Because the youngster nowadays, what they will value more? Technology, isn't it? They want something that is advanced. So instead of to trigger and to let them to have interest to this agriculture, what can we do to introduce, memperkenalkan pertanian pintar? So pintar, it means smart. Pertanian pintar means what? We put in the technology in. Example, automatic system pengairan. Example, penggunaan drone dalam pemantauan tanaman, to use the drone, all this kind of technology. So this one is to memperkenalkan the pertanian pintar. So it's about the technology and it's about the drone also. Then the next one, we said that the pay is very low. They got not enough money. How are they supposed to start up the business? How are they supposed to get themselves involved in if they never attract the youngster one? So what can the government do? Provide financial provide the financial assistance. So the kerajaan menyediakan ataupun menawarkan bantuan kewangan. Bantuan kewangan in terms of to provide them with subsidy, to provide them with pinjaman dengan kadar faedah yang rendah, with a lower interest rate, so that it will be able to mengurangkan beban kos operasi. Then only the youngster that will have the faith and also have confidence to start up a business because the government is helping them with the money. Kurangnya pendedahan teknologi, since they say that there is lack of exposure of the technology. So what happened? Campaign kesedaran. Why campaign kesedaran? The campaigns, right, it's like a program like that. So what they can do is like to create awareness of the importance of a technology into this pertanian to the people, and also at the same time they might also carry out the what do you call that? Research and development. Penyelidikan dan pembangunan for all the technology in the campaign. Okay, so that only provides you with the problem. You will need to think of another way to provide with the solution. So this solution is the usaha already. So you need to provide something that related to it, because in the maklumat tambahan, it provides with you the points. So this one is a bit tricky one. Okay, then the last one. Petikan di atas menjelaskan negara yang aman, harmoni dan makmur dapat diwujudkan melalui perpaduan semua kaum. Sebagai rakyat Malaysia, terangkan, they ask you to explain tanggungjawab yang perlu dilakukan oleh semua pihak untuk merealisasikan hasrat tersebut. Merealisasikan hasrat, which hasrat? Negara yang aman, harmoni dan makmur. And how do we get to this negara yang aman, harmoni dan makmur? The people must be perpaduan. So right now you need to explain about what is the responsibility of all the peoples in order to realize about this. So meaning to say, perpaduan is the topic. Tanggungjawab is the kata kunci. They ask you for semua pihak means what? It must be more than one character. And since it must be more than one character, from here, do they provide you any info? No. They never give you any info. How, teacher, then how? You need to brainstorm yourself. How, teacher, how to brainstorm? Whenever you need character, okay, draw this pyramid out. There will be a pyramid with the 8 layers pyramid, and each layer it represent a character. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. 8 layers. What do you need to mean in para that given typo? So the first one here, it will be diri. The second here, it will be keluarga. So when it's come to keluarga, it will be ibu bapa. Then the third one is rakan. After the rakan, it will be sekolah. After sekolah is the media. Then is the society. Then this one is the pihak swasta, the private sector. Last one is the government, pihak kerajaan. You will have all these 8 layers pyramid. Okay, so over here, I need semua pihak. So means what? Tanggungjawab of some character in order to realize the hasrat. Meaning to say, how can we get into the perpaduan? Then only we will be able to merealisasikan hasrat tersebut, isn't it? So over here, who can I choose? Perpaduan, it will be something related to the educations also and the people also. Ibu bapa for sure. Sekolah also. Kerajaan also. Kerana Malaysia terdiri daripada 3 kaum, isn't it? Masyarakat majmuk mah. So over here, first, when we talk about parents, ibu bapa, kerana Malaysia merupakan sebuah masyarakat majmuk, so the parents every time they become the suri teladan, role model. Why? Because the parents cannot be racist. When we are not racist, then only we'll be able to perpaduan. Tidak harus bersifat berkauman. Then sekolah. Sekolah, it can be the activity, co-curriculum. Menyemai perpaduan melalui activity co-curriculum. Because in the activity co-curriculum, you will join with other people that might be like other races lah. Then after that is the pihak kerajaan. Pihak kerajaan, it can be like the policy. So it can be like dasar dan program. Perpaduan. So from here, we got 1, 2, 3. When you need pihak, when you need the points what they can do, get the pyramid out, and then write down the point. Okay, so this is how you think. When it's come to the bertutur, also the same thing. You can get the pyramids and also to think of the point. Okay, so basically, this is the paper 1 lah. Then I want to go into touch and goes for the answering techniques for the paper 2. How many easy do we need? For the long essay, it's like 3 points lah. 3 points, then opening, closings, 5 paragraph. So each and every of the paragraph, you will be able to write up until 100 words because maximum is 500 words lah. So if you're able to elaborate, then it will be good because your elaborations will be very detailed already. And this is what the teachers want. So actually, for the long essay, a lot of the school teachers that will suggest the students to write 5 paragraphs instead of 6. But of course, if you couldn't do, write so much for each and every of the ECR, then you just think of one more easy and make it to 6 paragraphs lah. Then roughly about 80 plus minus per paragraph. Okay, any questions so far? If you don't have, let's move on to the next one. So this is some example for the soalan 1. You may scan the QR codes later on, and then in the QR codes, you will have others answer for the soalan 2, 3, 4 also. Alright, now the paper 2, morphology. Now, morphology is that you will need to find out the jenis kata and then bina ayat 1. This is morphology. So to find out the jenis kata, and then you will need to bina ayat. Okay. Then there is one thing that I need you to remember here is never mind, later on. This one. First, senarai jenis kata yang perlu dikuasai. So we have list out some things for you, but I want to add in one more. Is the kata terbitan. Kata terbitan, it means the jenis kata with imbuhan. Okay, jenis kata with imbuhan. Kata dasar is the root words, the base word. It means that the words without any imbuhan lah. That one is kata dasar. Okay, then over here lah. Still remember just now I told you that we have the TTC BM, the IG, isn't it? So we have uploaded for the kata tunggal, kata dasar, and today we will have one for kata nama. Slowly, we will put in the kata ganti nama, kata kerja, kata adjective together with the kata penguat. For the first part over here first, then slowly only we go into other things. So we have set and also to distribute to the respective tutors on all these kata-kata already. Then stay tuned on the bertutur also. Okay, look at this one. The morphology. I say jenis kata and then bina ayat. How are you supposed to bina ayat? Now, you will need to find out the kata adjective and the acronym over here. Then they want you to bina satu ayat. Your ayat, okay, when you find out the words already, you need to use the words to bina ayat. The word that you use, right? Tidak boleh menambahkan imbuhan, menukarkan imbuhan, atau menggunakan perkataan sebagai peribahasa atau nama khas. Let's say, if they're asking you to look for the kata nama and then you found sekolah, you cannot use sekolah to change it to become sekolah kebangsaan, sekolah menengah kebangsaan TTC in the bina ayat. Cannot. You cannot change it to become the kata nama khas. Tak boleh. Okay? Then, let's say lah, they say there needs 2 kata adjective, 2 acronym. So, example, I found the adjective already. Okay, alright. How are we supposed to present the answers in exam? Okay. First of all, you will need to do something like this. Let's say, kata adjective. Then, right now, the first one. Right. Bina ayat. How are you supposed to bina ayat? Always start off with a watak character. After the watak, kata kerja. So after the kata kerja, explanations huraian. Okay, further explanation. So let's say lah, it can be something like watak. Okay, kita harus Mengekalkan hubungan yang erat. Masyarakat agar keharmonian negara terjamin. A short sentence is enough already. So you see, kita is the watak. Dan harus mengekalkan apa? Mengekalkan hubungan yang erat. The mengekalkan is the kata kerja. Then after that, I further explains with, if you don't know how, then you can use the suka pattern. The suka referring to the kata hubung. Supaya untuk kerana agar, to further explain it, to make it a complete sentence. Then after that, it will be huraian. But of course, teacher, can I just start like kita harus mengekalkan hubungan yang erat dalam masyarakat? You can do so as well. So it depends on the school teacher lah. Because if the school teachers, they ask you to make a more proper sentence, or maybe the sentence that is like more lengthy, then you just put in the suka. Or else you can also just start like mengekalkan hubungan yang erat dalam masyarakat. Like 10 plus minus can already. No need to be like, 20 or 30 like this, no need. 10 plus minus is more than enough. Plus minus lah. Okay, so this is how you bina ayat. Then you continue with the second kata adjective and then acronym. This is how you present the answer. Okay, this is morphology. So far, so good. Then, okay, acronym is what? Acronym basically is a short form. So the short form, let's say lah, give an example. Tadika is a short form. Taman Didikan Kanak-kanak. Tadika. This is acronym. Okay, so this is acronym. Let's say Komsas, component sastra. Komsas. Okay, can I? So this is acronym. All right, so for this one, you may try it yourself because the answer is provided. Then next, JPN. Okay, JPN can you consider as the acronym? It can be, is because JPN is a kata singkatan. Okay, kata singkatan is one of the short form under acronym. But when it's come, when the questions ask for acronym, the first choice, right, it will be the short form of the suku kata. Suku kata. T-A-T-A, D-I-D-K-A-K, tadika. So the very first choice, it's always the short form of suku kata. Only if and only if you cannot find the short form for the suku kata, then only you will go into the short form for the alphabet, JPN, SPM, STPM. Or else, this one will never be the first choice for acronym because there will be more towards the category under acronym, which is kata singkatan. Kata singkatan, then your first choice is JPN, KPM, SPM. So for this question, because there needs two acronyms, and then for this question, we have two acronyms that is suku kata. So your schema, we will not choose JPN because this is not the first choice. Unless we do not have the short form for the suku kata, then only we choose the JPN, KPM. So what is the short form for the suku kata, for the acronym here? Is Terhakis and Purata. Not Berita. Berita is a kata nama only. Terhakis, they add in the imbuhan ter lah. Without the imbuhan ter, right? Hakis, it's habis kikis. Purata is puku rata. So they are using the short form of suku kata. Okay? Alright, so morphology, something like this. Let's move on to the syntaxes. Okay, to look at the syntaxes, right? Next one. Now, syntaxes here is about the structure ayat. So what do you need to take notes about the structure ayat? We have a list for you over here. And one thing about syntaxes very important. Students always skip one. Arahan is super important, remember. Instructions. Because example like this one. This is whatever you need to know for your structure ayat the syntaxes question. Ayat susunan biasa songsang. You need to read the arahans that only you know is from songsang to biasa or biasa to songsang. Tunggal majmuk is also. Whether you need to combine the ayat tunggal become ayat majmuk or you need to split. If it's split, right, then we will say pisah or cerakin. The meaning of cerakin, it means you will need to analyze the sentence, then to split the sentence. So whenever you see cerakin, is to pisahkan ayat. Then, how many sentences you need to combine? How many sentences you need to split? And whether the answers to write in the number form, 1, 2, 3, 4, or maybe like point form, or whether you want to write your answers in a paragraph form. Everything it will be listed in the question, which is the arahan. So the arahan is super important. If you never read the arahans, right, you will make mistake easily. So remember, arahan is super important. So this is all about the syntaxes one. Actually, it's all of it, you learn it in the lower form. It's just that that will make the questions more tricky only. Okay. So this is a syntaxes. You may try it on yourself. So remember, you must read the arahans, then only you will be able to know what to do. Example like this one. Kena pasi dan tulis 2 ayat tunggal yang lengkap bagi 3 ayat majmuk yang anda pilih seperti yang berikut. Means what? They never choose the sentence for you. You need to choose yourself to know. So you will need to choose the ayat majmuk. Means what? A sentence with the kata hubung lah. So when you choose the sentence already, then you need to split the sentence into only 2. Even though there will be 3 sentences combined to become 1 now. So when you split by right, it can be split into 3. Example, this one. The kata hubung, we have walaupun. Okay. We have dan, you know. This is actually consists of 3 sentences. One. Let's see. The first sentence. Semua tingkap masih belum dibuka. Semua tingkap masih belum dibuka. 1AC. Semua pintu masih belum dibuka. Hening pagi masih lagi dapat dirasai dalam kediaman kami sekeluarga. Hening pagi, it means that early in the morning. So this sentence, right, it's actually 3 sentences combined to become 1. They use walaupun and dan to combine. But if you read the arahan, it's mentioned for each ayat majmuk that you choose, you can only split them into 2 sentences. So if you split in this way, you are wrong. That's why, how are you supposed to do it? Okay. The main sentence, the main 2 sentences that being combined is by using walaupun and not dan. So the sentence will then become remove this one. Semua tingkap dan pintu masih belum dibuka. The first one. Hening pagi masih lagi dapat dirasai dalam kediaman kami sekeluarga. The second one. So your answers will be 1A, 1B. And then you will need to write down this sentence. the whole thing here. This is how you should present in the exam. So write down the ayat majmud that you choose, and then write down the ayat tunggal that you split. And you can only split into 2 sentences for each ayat majmud because it's already stated in the question. So arahan is very important. Isabel, you refer back to the page 13. I give you the list already for the morphology. What is the jenis kata? Just now I go through already. Okay, then after that, the next one, syntaxis finish already, is the penyuntingan. Penyuntingan is the kesalahan. So basically, this is exactly the same as what you had learned in the lower form lah. But how many amend on the questions are petikan dua, basically you got 6. How are you supposed to answer it? Do we have to write? Yes, you need to write the highlight actually, as I told you, because this question, they never underline the sentence for you because they already mentioned yang anda pilih. So it's the sentences that you choose. You need to let the teachers know which sentences you have chosen. Then only you write down. That's why you will need to write down the underlined one because they never choose a sentence for you. Only if they already underline, they choose a sentence for you, and then mentions you no need, tidak perlu menyalin ayat tersebut, then only you no need to recopy down, or else you will need to write down the sentences that you choose. So read the arahan. Arahans will forever tell you what do you need to do. Always. Okay? Remember to read the arahan, very important. Penyuntingan, there will be 2 ways for you to present the answer. Page 18. It's either in the table form or arrow. There will be 2 ways lah. The type A, the type B. Depends on school teacher. Most of the teachers, they will recommend the students to do it in the table form one. The reasons why they want the students to do it in the table form because it's look more neatly and nice lah. But of course, it depends on the school teachers. If your teachers did mention that whatever they want, then you need to follow. Okay? Whatever they want, you need to follow. Or else these 2 patterns is accepted. So it depends on the school teachers for the presentation. Then we will go into this one, the BMS. The classic and the modern. Okay. For the BMS, first of all, for all the bahasa istana, you will need to remain the same. Okay, this is just remain the same. So, example, like when the king is talking, we will not change to berkata one actually. Tita, it means cakap, kata, but this is bahasa istana for the kings, whenever the king is talking. So, we will only add imbuhan to make it bertita. We will still remain the bahasa istana. Kata ganti nama diri perlu dikekalkan. When we talk to the king, okay, whether it's Patih, Tuan Humble, or this, then we need to remain. Remove pun and lah. Digugurkan. Gugur, it means remove. We do not need the pun. Pun, it means that also juga. Remove it. The la is like the particle to soften the sentence only. It's like a tone. We do not need la also. You may just remove it. The name of the character, we need to remain. The name of the place, we also need to remain. And tanda baca perlu dikekalkan, like the full stop and then the comma, all these are the punctuation. Then number 6, perkataan maka. If it's awal perenggan, abaikan. Awal ayat, bukan awal perenggan, kemudian selepas itu, what does this mean? Okay. Let me do a summary for you. Whenever you see the maka, whenever you see hatta, whenever you see shahadan. Okay. There will be 2 types of the teachers, A and B. The first one, the teachers will ask you to ignore. Whenever you see maka, hatta, shahadans, remove it. Do not need to translate. Then the second teacher is they want you to translate, but if you need to translate, then you will need to look at how and also what are the words that you need to use. A. Maka hatta shahadan, you see it from the beginnings. of a sentence or the beginnings of the paragraph, what you can do is, at the beginning, so like beginning of a sentence lah, then you change to either, kemudian selepas itu, setelah. But what if you see maka hatta syahadan in the middle of a sentence? Then you may change to either one of it, kemudian selepas itu, setelah, and add one more, lalu. Lalu can only be used if it's in the middle of a sentence because it cannot use it to start off a sentence. Okay. For me, every time when we do the BMS, right, I will just ask the students to ignore the maka hatta syahadat. Because the more you change, the more confusing you will be one. Only if the teacher asks you, die, you need to change. Or else, actually, most of the school teachers, they will just ask you to ignore it. No need to change it because the more you change, the more confused you will be. Okay, let's apply and see. Now, the very first things how I will do is I will ask my students to bracket all the sentences to find out how many sentences you need to translate so you will not miss out any of it. So we do have 1, 2, 3, and then 4 over here. Okay, 4 and 5. In total, we have 5 sentences over here. So the first sentence, what I do, I remove the maka. Okay, no need the maka. I remove the pun. No need the pun. So the very first step is to find out character. Each sentence, find out the character watak. Then the second things, to find out the kata kerja, the verbs. Then the third one is to bina ayat, to construct sentence. How are you supposed to construct sentence? Like what I told you in the morphology. Watak, kata kerja, huraya. Okay. Then number 4 is the penyuntingan. Penyuntingan means what? Kesalahan bahasa, to check the grammar. Make sure that the imbuhan they use it correctly. Make sure that the kata seni, nama, kata hubung, everything they use it correctly. So let's do it. Like the first one, find out the watak first. So obvious, Temenggung is the watak. And what's Temenggung doing? Sembah. Sembah you may understand as kata, talking to, but as a sign of respect. So when we talk to the king, as a sign of respect, we will use batik. So as a sign of respect, we will use the term sembah instead of just kata. So this is the kata kerja. Okay, then you see, I will jot down my watak first. So Temenggung. Then remember when I reconstruct the sentence, watak, kata kerja, then only huraian. I put in watak already, kata kerja. Kata kerja, you need to make sure that the imbuhan is correct because we need to make sure that the grammar. So it will never be just sembah lah. Then I add in imbuhan, bersembah. Okay. Daulat Tuanku Shah Alam is like a gelaran, a name like that. So for all the nama, we will remain gelaran. We will also remain dikekalkan, copy and paste. Daulat Tuanku Shah Alam. So it's talking to the king. So Patih. Patih menyuruh orang berkawal semalam tadi. Semalam it means yesterday. Tadi is just now. So I no need tadi just now already because it's like I ask people, I instruct people to do the guarding jobs to guard yesterday. So Patih menyuruh orang berkawal semalam. Seorang pun tak bertemu. I don't see anybody. Tak is a short form. So, tetapi, but I don't see anybody. Tiada seorang ditemui. No one is being found. We don't see anybody here. Then the next one. Patih hamba. Patih is whenever we talk to the king. Hamba It's pada zaman dahulu, it also means saya. But hamba is whenever the pembesar is talking to each other, then they will use hamba to address themselves. Pembesar and pembesar. So right now we are talking to the king, so it's not hamba, it's patih. Remove the pun, remove the la, and what is hairan? It means curious. It's a feeling ma. So I got the watak here. I feel very curious. I feel is a kata kerja because hairan is a feeling. That's why the kata kerja berasa. So I put in my watak patik. I put in my kata kerja berasa, hairan, copy and paste. Akan penjurit itu. Dan just for your info, penjurit it means like askar like that actually. It's because right now we are still using the words penjurit one. But some of the teachers want you to change one. If they want you to change, then penjurit we can change to askar upahan. That's it. Okay. So for the sentences like the third one, the fourth one, and the fifth one, you may try it yourself because the answers is uploaded. So this is a technique on how do we do the BMS. Each and every of a sentence, find out your watak, then find out your kata kerja. Then only you reconstruct the sentence, rearrange the sentence, and also to make sure the tata bahasa is correct. That's it. Okay? Alright, then we come to the peribahasa lah. The peribahasa, mainly I just want to show you about how you will be tested because it's no longer the picture one. The picture one, it will be from 1, 2, 3 lah. So from 4 and from 5, the SPM one, it will be something like this. They might give you dialogue, they might give you the passage. So when you read through the dialogue or the passage, you go and find out lah. Okay, what would be the peribahasa or any synonym, something like this over here lah. Normally is you will need to list out 3 peribahasa, so a total 6 marks. Each peribahasa, it will carry 2 marks. Okay? Then, bahagian A settle is the bahagian B. Bahagian B, as I told you that 4 questions for the question 6 and question 7 maksud, petikan, then it's pendapat already. This is how I want you to answer to avoid you from making mistake. Whenever they say maksud, try not to use kata pemberi. Kata pemberi is what? Ialah and also adalah. After ialah, we will only put a kata nama. Adalah, it will be the kata adjective and also the kata sendi nama. So you see, how are you supposed to answer for your first questions whenever they ask you for the definition? Berdasarkan bahan satu, remove the instructions, remove the maksud. Efficient and effective, you just use the words bermaksud will do. Then write down your answer. Why? Because sometimes when they ask you for the definitions, they can ask you for the kata kerja one. So if they ask you for kata kerja, then you put like, let's say, ialah, then it's wrong because after ialah can only be kata nama. You put adalah, it's also wrong because after adalah can never be a kata kerja. So you just use the wordings bermaksud, it will be the safest way. Then, 2 marks, man. Why is it 2 marks? Because normally they will ask the definitions for 2 words, one. Like, done, it will remain done, the efficient and effective, ma. So, what happened is that the ones that you know, you change. The one that you don't know, then you remain. You will at least still get 1 marks for this. Okay? Number 2, what's really important is how are you supposed to present the answer? 1 bahan, 1 sentence. Unless they ask you for similarity persamaan, or else 1 sentence, 1 bahan. So, how are you supposed to answer this? Berdasarkan semua bahan you change. Berdasarkan bahan satu. Cara yang boleh dilaksanakan untuk bla bla bla, then you put in termasuklah. Then only you write down the answer. Selain itu, continues with penanda wacana, same things again. Berdasarkan bahan 2. Cara termasuklah. Then your second question. Make sure you use the penanda wacana and make sure one bahan, one sentence. Do not combine all the answers in one sentence. Your teachers will just not look at it. Then you got 0 for that. Okay? Remember, very important. And also the penanda wacana. Then, question 3 and question 4 is the kebat question. So the only one thing for the kebats is the question 4. You need to take notes on the watak. Whether the watak is saya only or the pihak kerajaan, pihak sekolah, or ibu bapa. You need to be very careful on that. So, this one is pada pendapat anda. This is also pada pendapat anda. But, peranan yang boleh dilakukan oleh siapa? Ibu bapa. Memastikan pendedahan awal ini terlaksana. You see that? They give you watak already. So your answer can only be what the parents need to do. If you write other than the parents, pihak sekolah harus, it's wrong. Of course, you can say ibu bapa harus bekerja sama dengan pihak sekolah dengan, but you cannot just have the pihak sekolah. It must always start from the ibu bapa. That is only one thing you need to remember. 3 marks, it means 2 easy. 4 marks, it means 3 easy. Okay, then question 7, it will be the same set. How you write question 6, how you answer question 7. But for the novel, now let me show you the novel. Novel, right? The first questions for the novel in your page 28. This is the first question, pemahaman dan petikan novel. This is the second question, pemikiran kritis. The first questions, remember I told you, there will be 4 marks berdasarkan petikan 1. So the same thing. Berdasarkan petikan tersebut, perkara yang berlaku kepada Farisha, apakah yang berlaku So perkara yang berlaku loh. Then you write down. The answer is from the passage. So all these 4 marks is a 3 marks for you. Confirm. Then this one is the parts that you will need to choose it. Choose a novel and then 6 marks. 6 marks normally it will be 3 isi plus contoh. Contoh, it means the contoh peristiwa. How it support? It asks you, berdasarkan sebuah novel yang Anda pelajari, jelaskan sikap-sikap watak utama yang Anda gemari itu. So there will need to be 3 sikap watak utama and also to provide which contoh peristiwa is show that the sikap. That's why this is exactly how you answers in form 1, 2, 3. You will need to start from the tajuk and also the author name. So the tajuk and also the author name means what? You need to start with something like novel, berdasarkan novel yang telah saya kaji. This part is where you will need to write down the name and also the author in. Then, since they mentioned that watak utama watak utama dalam novel ini ialah, then you write down who is the character. Then only you start. Sikap-sikap watak utama yang saya gemari termasuklah, then you put on the sikap and the contoh peristiwa. So this is how you're supposed to answer for the novel. For the novel, it's about jalan cerita. So it's about the storyline. No longer to go and memorize the tema persoalan like what I mentioned. Okay, then it will be lastly the rumusan already. It's the same, not really, not really, because the Netflix one is might be more towards the documentary parts, but then what happens in the novel that you learn, right, is starting from the family and then how he go to the sekolah English, sekolah agama, all this kind of thing. So I cannot say not all of it will be based on true story lah. Maybe they got amend a bit. But you still can watch lah. You still can watch. Okay, you still can watch. Okay, more or less is very similar. Now, for the rumusan 30 marks here, there is only one thing I need to highlight to you. How are you supposed to find the focus? And how are you supposed to know is a 2 focus or 3 focus? There must always be a minimum dua isi daripada kata kunci yang sama. Then only it will be 1 focus in your rumusan. Okay? And the focus, it will be the combinations of the kata kunci together with the topic. Kata kunci together with the topic. So, this one, how are you supposed to find out? There will be the bahan 1, 2, 3. Bahan 1 confirm, it will be the petikans one. Bahan 2, bahan 3, it can be puisi, it can be the gambar raja, it can be statistic. So, from the bahan 1, whenever you do the questions right, you scroll down to the bottom part. Over here, they will tell you that this passage that extracted from where. So from here, Malaysia, tumpuan pelancong, you know, it will be something related to the pelancongans already. Okay, then more or less you can guess the topic already. Something's related to the industry pelancongan, sektor pelancongan. So when you read the passage, how are you supposed to find out your kata kunci, right? You take out this KFC again. Of course, it's not just restrict to the kesan faktor cara. You read each and every of a sentence, you ask yourself, is this a factor? Is this a cara? Or is this a kesan? It will still go to like cabarana, halangana, peranana, tanggung jawab. But just that this will be the fundamental. Okay, this is the basis. So you can ask yourself whether it's this 3 or not. If it's not this 3, then only you move on to the next one. Okay, then focus, total there will be 8 EC, as you know. That's why the combination focus 1 tambah focus 2, eventually it must be 8. So eventually it must be 8. It must start off with 2. No matter it's 2 plus 6, 3 plus 5, 4 plus 4, 5 plus 3, 6 plus 2. No matter how, it must be start off with a minimum of 2 and made up a total of 8. Okay? And then 1 EC, 1 sentence. That's why you will need to add in all the sentences by using Penanda Wacana, because 1 focus, 1 paragraph. 2 type of teacher, 1 focus, 1 paragraph, or the teacher will ask you to combine all the focus together in a paragraph. So it depends on the teacher. But no matter how, you use the Penanda Wacana to combine the sentences. What are the Penanda Wacana you can use? Tujuh bapak saya ditandas. Because rumusan, you got only isi, no huraian, no contoh. So, bapak saya ditandas, it's referred to which 7th Penanda Wacana? The first one B, bukan itu sahaja. Then the S, seterusnya, selanjutnya, selain itu. Then the D, di samping itu. Then the T, tambahan lagi, tambahan pula. In total 7. Okay? In total, there will be 7. Okay. Last one, penutup, remember. Penutup, it must be ayat passive. Confirm. And your teachers will always say, there will be no watak. No watak means what? It must always start off with kesimpulannya. No tegasnya, no tuntasnya, only kesimpulannya. Topic, not watak. Use only harus or perlu. Continues with your cadangan. This is the kata kerja passive without watak. Then agar supaya with your harapan. Okay, what does it mean? Let's say kesimpulannya, let's say we are doing amalan membaca. Amalan membaca harus diamalkan. Can you say oleh siapa? Tak boleh. Tak ada watak. Maksudnya, tak boleh ada oleh siapa. So, strict after the kata kerja passive continues with agar or supaya. Either one, they are the same thing. Dapat melahirkan generasi yang berilmu. Kesimpulannya, amalan membaca harus diamalkan supaya dapat melahirkan generasi yang berilmu. Only cadangan got no watak. Harapan, can you put watak? Yes, up to you. You want to put also can, you want to put also can. No kerana, no untuk, no demi, only agar supaya. And one last thing, after agar and supaya, cannot have kata kerja. So if you notice, I use supaya dapat melahirkan generasi yang berilmu. If you say supaya melahirkan generasi yang berilmu, so sorry then the teachers will deduct your bahasa mark and you are wrong. Okay, then you are wrong. Remember that. Okay, so remember to do the word count as well lah. Now, for your rumusans, you can try on it because we have this one, and then all the answers for the entire model papers that I go through it's over here, including the essay answer also. So if you got any questions that you would like to clarify, then you may ask me in the chat box. If bahan satu have two cara, but bahan dua and tiga don't have cara, then does cara still count as focus? Of course. Now, this is the parts where most of the students confuse. I give an example. Let's say we are doing the amalan membaca, and then we have cara, and then we have manfaat, and I do have bahan satu, bahan dua. Bahan satu, I got 6 cara, and then I got 4. Manfaat, I got 4 and 0. Okay, so in total, cara I got 10, manfaat I got 4, I got 14, but I need 8. So remember, as long as the total number here, it's more than 2, then it will be the focus for this rumusan. It's not about all the bahan you must have the isi. No, it's after you have go through all the bahan, total up, you have 2, then it will be counted as the focus. And how are you supposed to write this one into your rumusan? You cannot just be like, teacher, for the manfaat, I get all from bahan satu, bahan dua don't have now. Then for the cara, I get all from bahan dua. 4 plus 4, 8 already. Cannot. Because in the schema, it's already stated. As long as in the bahan itself, you have the easy for this focus, then you need to take at least 1. Meaning to say you need to get at least 1 from bahan satu, at least 1 from bahan dua, and then manfaat from bahan satu. So at least 1, 1, 1, you will have 3 in total. Then the remaining 8, right? The balance of the remaining 5 the balance of 5 you can get it from any of it you like. Okay. So this is how it should be counted as a focus. Not necessary to be in order bahan one. As long as the total you got at least 2, then it will be counted as the focus already. Clear enough, Aishan? Okay. Now, guys, so the seminars of today, it's over. I will stop it over here. Any things that you want to clarify, then you ask me in the chat box lah. So see you when I see you lah. Bye-bye. Welcome. Bye-bye.